Hey girl, hey, welcome to my journey, my mess, and my space. I am your host, Life Coach Robin, and sis, let's clean up this mess. So, as always, I want to say welcome to this safe space that was created to assist women in their healing journey. I want you to remember that you already have everything that you need within to do this work. And that's why no one can dictate to you what your healing should look like or what it should feel like. And although our stories may be similar, the people, the energy, and the spaces are completely different. So take what you need from these spaces, tweak it, make it your own, and allow it to help you navigate your journey. So I am super excited. I have two guests. One I love to death. Dion, I'm just not meeting tonight. But we're going to be talking about allowing love to love you. We're going to talk about long distance relationships. And we're just going to get into this conversation and allow them to hold space with us just to share what it's like to be in spaces where you are loved, where you are supported, where you are just celebrated. So, Ebony, let's start with you. Would you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hey y'all, I'm Ebony P. I'm just gonna put it like this. I'm whatever God needs me to be. But in the interim of that, I'm also a mother, a author, a advocate, and again, whatever God needs me to be.
For me, I am a certified personal trainer, a certified nutritionist, a certified fitness coach. Um, I am, as I was second what my lady said, I am what God planted me here to be, and then some.
I love that. So, before we get started, Ebony, if you don't mind, can you share with us a little bit about what cerebral palsy is?
Sure. I'm gonna give y'all a quick, brief definition, not the big medical terms. I'm gonna make it easy so that y'all can understand it. Cerebral palsy is simply your brain. It's like your brain having a stroke while you're going through the birth canal. The side of your brain that gives you the motor skills and tells your legs and arms and whatnot what to do. Usually, when people are born with cerebral palsy, that side of our brains loses oxygen as we're passing through the birth canal.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted you to share a little bit for, the viewers who didn't know exactly, what cerebral palsy is. So thank you for that. So let's get started. First, I want to ask you, how did you guys meet? Whoever wants to go first, I want to tell that story.
I was just browsing through Instagram like we all do. We all got social media, and I seen this beautiful woman come across my timeline. Correct. So I seen this woman come across my timeline. But before I seen the beauty, I seen that. I said I knew what she had. I said, wow, that's cerebral palsy. And but I seen like a woman with no fear, and I was just like, wow. I was like, man, this woman is amazing. And at the time, I wasn't so forward. I wasn't coming out with my story, and she was just like, look, I'm a model. I'm doing this, and I was just like, man, this is amazing. So I was so captivated by the story of her, and I DM'd her, and I was just like, hey, like, it's amazing what you're doing. I have cerebral palsy too, but I'm not as brave as you to come out with my story. And that's when I'm gonna let you take over now. Your turn. Go ahead.
Okay. What you said is actually what happened. And then I automatically jumped into, okay, so what are we gonna do to get your story out, to get you comfortable with sharing your story? And I told him whenever he was ready, that I will be here to help him share his story. That's pretty much how we met.
Well, let me ask you this. What does allowing love to love you mean to you, Ebony?
Allowing love to love me. It means a lot of things. Allowing love to love me in this new space that I'm in. Um, because when me and Dion met, I had a lot of broken pieces, and I had to be strong enough to tell him that I was broken in certain areas, but still allow him to love me. And he legitly said those words to me, like, it's okay for you to allow me to love you, because he knew that I was like, you know, but allowing them to love me is just accepting all the parts of me, accepting that I'm healed from certain things and that I'm still healing from certain things, but still open to receiving love, if that makes sense.
Wow. This is the thing I say, allowing love to love you. I have never felt so much love um by someone, and I tell her all the time, um, you're present without being present. You feel what I'm saying? She's not in the physical presence, but I feel even through this Zoom, she's right here. She's right here. Like I feel her love, like currently right here. So I'm allowing her love to love me. By her just checking on me every day, by her sending me prayers, by her just saying, "You got this." Like I said before, this woman was my woman. She was and still is my inspiration and my motivator.
And the reason I asked, what is allowing love to love you mean to you?
Mm,
Um, is simply because a lot of people, they are in a space, they are in relationships, and they still have this wall up. And I
mm,
remember when me and Tony, I think we're in year two, three. He told me, he was like, if you if you don't let this wall down, I gotta go. I have to go. But I had that wall up, I was so used to showing up for Robin, I didn't allow
mm,
it to do that for me. So I had that wall up, and I had to learn how to allow myself to be loved. So I like asking other people, what does that mean to them? So what are some misconceptions that people have when it comes to dating and having cerebral palsy in your space that you know of?
Really, honestly, I said this with someone else. Dating in general, whether you're differently able or not, is hard. You understand what I'm saying? But in the differently able community, it's a little shaky on the ground, because you never really know. And well, this can flip either way, but you never really know people's true intentions, because a lot of people um, have fetishes for the differently able community. So it's like, are you with me because you're attracted to me and you genuinely want to get to know me, or are you with me because you have a fetish? And then some people, when it comes to the different able community too, some people date, and this all again is from my experience, date the differently able community because they need to feel a need of wanting to feel needed, because sometimes in the differently able community, you do need a little help. So, I mean, it's shaking on any ground. But one thing that I stand on now in this space that I'm in love and in life in general, is um, telling people what comes along with me. So it's like, hey, this. It's either a yes or no. It's not it's not an in between, because I don't have time to waste, and neither do you. So
version. Now, a man's version of that because I don't have certain features or certain assets, no pun intended, correct? So I am a man dealing with this. So, dating for me, before I was able to work on my aesthetics was, it's like, okay, a woman be like, a woman will say, not say it verbally, but her energy was like, hey, you have cerebral palsy, so I can go out here and get another man who doesn't have, no physical limitation. And as a man, we're not taught to be vulnerable and we're not supposed to be vulnerable. So I'm already coming into the relationship at a disadvantage because I'm looked at as invalid, if that make any sense. So it's like a woman to be like, oh yeah, I'll date you, but um I can essentially do better. And you talked about a wall. That's essentially what created a wall of coolest for me. It's like, well, it doesn't matter because if you leave, I'll get your sister. But I had to come up with that, or I'll get your mother, or whoever chooses. But look, I had to come up with that because look. I'm just keeping it tall, as I said. I'm just being honest. You got to come up with that energy. You got to stand on that because on a male side, you know, they already look at me as weak because of what our males looked at as protective. So they like you have a different ability, so you already weak. So I had to come up with a certain type of covering, a certain type of armor, going into the beginning, dealing with relationships. If that make any sense.
Does it makes a lot of sense? It really does.
Hmm.
Well, with you saying that, how are how do you feel that Ebony is able to show up for you emotionally? When you having a moment or you're struggling, how is she showing up? Because I didn't mention that this is a long distance relationship also. So how is she able to show up for you emotionally?
I mean, she's showing up right now just by being on the screen, just by looking at her, and it's doing something to me by looking at her. But that's another story, right? So I'll be there in March. Just say that. Keep that same energy when I see you in March. Respect, right? So hey, hold on. But just hearing her voice. This woman, oh, I'm about to get emotional. This woman checks on me every and every like second of well, I won't say every second because I mean obviously no one can, but I'm saying she checks on me 3 to 4 times out the day. Not to mention this woman is a minister, this woman is a mother before she had me, and she checks on me all the time. So the emotional support that she gives me is nothing that I've never experienced. It gets me emotional, even when I'm getting into my cluster moments when I'm just in my head, she said, "You got this." She always brings me home. That's why I call her my mama bear because I have a mama, but she's my mama bear.
I love. And for you,
Yeah,
how does Dion show up for you emotionally?
I've been trying to hold back tears this whole little time, but I'm just holding it together because I got these lashes on. But to he's always the same stuff that he say I do for him. He legitly does for me. Like, and our schedules is so they're crazy. But he's always present. Like, he'll get home super late, and he'll be like, "I just wanted you to know I was home," and we'll talk, even if it's only for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, he's always present. He's never not present. If I call him on an accident and he's in the middle of doing something, he'll be like, "You okay? You good?" So he's always present. It's never not a time that he's not present.
And the reason I ask that because once again, in a lot of different relationships, there is a lack of emotional support. Especially once you get comfortable, because me and Tony had to work really hard to make sure we are able to maintain that space of communication and being able to show up for each other and just be supportive for one another. But I want to ask you this. So, what is one thing about your partner that inspires you?
To to see where he is now is very much inspiring to me because I know what it took for him to get here. He had to literally put himself in the forefront and be looked at in a different view that he necessarily wasn't ready for. Like everybody that started with him is no longer around him. So I seen him go through a shift of what he thought support was to understanding what support is. And the fact that even when he gets frustrated, he don't quit. And the way that he work out is bananas, okay? Because I be like, let me get myself together because he. So he inspires me in his not quitting. Like it's like once the light bulb went off, like, okay, I'm Dion, I got cerebral palsy, but this is it. Once that went off, it was like go time for him. And just to see him accomplish all of these things that he wanted to accomplish, but didn't have the support that he needed to accomplish those things. To see him do those things now is very inspiring to me.
She inspired me just by living. And I know that was like a broad statement. Let me just explain. Like this woman, she believed, and I'm getting emotional, but I knew this was gonna happen. And she believed in me when I ain't have my closest family. Oh, sorry, my closest family and my closest friends, so called, believed in me, and she was like, "It's okay. You're gonna be great. You're gonna do great things." And I didn't even believe that in myself, to be honest. She was like, "You're gonna be great," and I'm like, "I'm gonna be great." You was put here to be great. You're gonna do amazing things. She would pour into me so much with doing ministry, being a mother, being all these amazing things, and she would pour into me. It's not a day, a second that she didn't pour into me. I was just like, this woman is amazing. So by her pouring into me and her like just being her, that's why I always say, and I tell her all the time, thank you for being born. Thank you for being born. Her being born is what motivates me.
I love that. Y'all are so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I don't want you crying the whole time, Dion. So let me switch it up a little bit.
I'm an emotional guy. That's just what I do. Go ahead.
So let me ask you this. Whoever wants to go first. Give me one of your biggest challenge that you face as a couple. Because
Go ahead, sis.
everything ain't all rosy and beautiful. So what was one thing, maybe something that you had to adjust where the other person was concerned, maybe a certain way they do things or say things or whatever, but what was one big challenge that you had to overcome as a couple?
Um, my tone be a lot sometimes. So that has been a we getting better. You know what I'm saying? It ain't been shaky on the ground as it was in the beginning. But my tone and the way that certain things I deliver, it will come off a certain way. With me not necessarily meaning it that way, but it will come off a certain way. So um just my tone was something that had to be worked on within the growth of our relationship to understand, like because he always say, I'm so tough," but I'm trying to live in my soft woman era, okay? But I'm able to do that now because, and I don't know if this is going to be a question or what have you, but I'm able to do that now because I have the safe space to do that where I can relax and be like, So, but my tone was definitely something that had to be worked on in as we develop in our relationship.
Well, it's ironic that she says, her tone, that she had to work on, but I also had to work on my tone. because when something would frustrate me, I would immediately go to man, I want to fight. I want to do this. I want to let's do this. And I had a situation that happened, and Ebony is always a great listening ear. She's wonderful, and I was going through a situation with a client, and I was a little, distraught, and I was saying these things, and Ebony always listened to me. But something I said struck the nerve, and she was like, "Oh, wait a minute," and I realized that my tone triggered her, and she said, "You don't need to talk like that. You got this brand on that she helped me create. You need to. You don't need." She has never since first then and since talked to me like that. But that was her way of saying, "Hey, you don't need to be like this. I know you're triggered, but calm down." And what she was doing was protecting me, but also it was a trigger for her. And I remember that night I said, "Sweetheart, I'm sorry I triggered you." And we had an emotional time. And I kept apologizing because just as she said, I have to work on my tone, and it's probably news to her currently now. I had to work on my tone too. Yeah, I know I have said a lot. Hey, no, hey, just get the softer side. And when she's the softer side, when she's soft like she is, I'm like, yeah, I'm bringing the checks in about 2 o'clock. That look. Hey, what you want? Manolos, diamond slippers. What we getting? Come on, we about to go. Hey, look, I'm bringing the checks in. You being soft, but at the same time, I had to do the same thing. I had to, because like I said, I'm a man. Even though I wear my heart on my sleeve, I can be like a man's man. But she was like, "Hey, I know you dealt with this in your past. Hey, calm it down." And I didn't want what I have dealt with in my past to trigger her. So I had to work on my tone as well, not just her.
So is it fair to say that in this relationship, what's different is being able to have someone to see you go through something and still just be present and supportive and emotionally there? Is that fair to say?
It's very much so fair because baby, let me tell you something. I was the queen of not talking. I don't sit and just, I don't have nothing to say. But again, it goes back to what I said earlier, like space when the space is created and you're safe and you're heard, it allows you to want to communicate.
Yes. Have you had any judgment when it came to your relationship from others?
Mostly because we long distance. They not even in the same state. Like
They ain't even in the fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely the distance. It's definitely the distance. We always hear that. Like, how y'all doing this and y'all not even in the same state?
How big of a role is communication in this relationship versus what you've been in the past?
Nah, I take that, and I'm gonna piggyback off that question that she asked. It's funny because a lot of people said they ain't even in the same state, and once they well on my side, and once they started seeing me come up, they was like, wow, I guess she's good. It's funny because monetary gain, they like, oh wow, like look what you doing. Like you went from your mother's couch to being a personal trainer, had your own business. Oh, now you want to meet her now? I told you she was great. She was great before all these things. She was great when I was dealing with my breakup. When everyone left me alone, she pushed her Thanksgiving meal the way and say, hey, talk to me. You're hurting. So let's just talk about that before the monetary gain. Like they 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 just see, wow, she got you on your purpose. No, this woman was my friend before she was anything. She was my inspiration before and my motivation before she was anything. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob.
Go
What
ahead.
was the question?
I was asking about communication. How big of a role is communication in this relationship you are in with Ebony?
Well, communication is everything because you gotta think. I can't. I mean, tomorrow Valentine's Day. As much as I would love to dot. We can't see each other. But we can communicate Sweetheart, what was that? Was that last year where I sung to you on Valentine's Day? I was like, hey, look, we ain't together, but I'm gonna sing to you, and I can't sing. So I was singing to her. I sung three different songs to her. Oh, I was just singing because I'm like, hey, look, hey, look, I can't be there with you, but I'm gonna be there with you. I'm gonna make this monumental. I'm sitting there and I'm singing, and I'm singing my heart out. So communication is so key to what we got going on. Sweetheart, go ahead.
There was pause. Okay, anyway, but he's 100% right. Like communication is legitly is all we have until we're able to um plan trips for us to be together until eventually we're in the same state. And then not to mention we're on a time difference. Um so but we make time. Like we even if it's just sending a voice message, hey, love you, hey, how's your day going? Da 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 da. We communication is important and like he said, tomorrow is Valentine's Day and we both be like, but we make it work.
And for the record, I still got the first gift she sent me on Valentine's Day to the last gift. I even got the wrapper. I even still got the wrapper. I go get it right now. That's what I'm saying.
You're,
I got
you're,
the wrap. I
you're
got
go,
the wrap. No, I
go
got the
go get the
wrapper
record.
that she sent me. See, it's a thought that counts. I still have the wrapper that she sent me when I was staying in my mother's house, and yes, I brought it here. Look, and she gonna laugh when I say this. When she came to visit me in DC, she liked this string cheese that she liked, and it was one piece of cheese left. I kept the cheese for like 6 months, and she's like, "Babe, you need to throw that cheese away." I said, "No." She said that's a health hazard. I said, "Nah, I just remember when you was here. I threw the cheese away. What was it like 3 months ago? From
Just
June of
threw that
2020."
shit. No, 3 months ago. You just threw that shit away like maybe a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it was a part of her that was here, so I was just like, yeah, I kept it. It was refrigerated, so so it was good.
It was still a health hazard. It doesn't.
He's trying to hold on to you any way he can.
Listen,
I
and
love that.
listen,
That's beautiful.
Facts. That's facts. That's facts. From a whole. There we go.
So, how do you maintain independence while still getting to learn each other and deciding how this relationship is going to grow? But how do you still focus on yourself? Does that question make sense to you? Like
yes.
being able to, I'm in love, I love this relationship, but I'm grown. I still need to focus on the things that I do. How do you work that? But then also it's long distance, all these different things. But how do you still focus on Ebony and Dion? How do you still just try to focus on you until you can come together? And then, I'll be a flower girl, but go ahead.
Me and Dion are both our own entities. And we both understood that when we fell in love with each other, we both understood that we both had things going on prior to each other. Like, perfect example. He'll call me and he'll be like, "Oh my God, pretty lady, I'm so sorry that I'm calling you right now. Are you doing homework with Calvin?" Like
Did that
like
today. Facts.
yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
did that today too. Like he understands that there's things that happens outside of him and vice versa. Like that's it's really not honestly, and I'm not just trying to say this because like it's really not a problem for us because we understood that we were separate entities before we became together.
I mean, and just to piggyback on that, and I know in this common world, you know, in this world, like they say, well, I can't be first, and you gotta think I'm dating a woman. You know what I'm saying? My wife is future wife is going. He has a kid, correct? And I know the not the stereotype, but the thing is, oh, I want to be first, or I want to be this. Let me tell you something. This woman was a mother before she even knew who I was. I'm okay with being second to Calvin because a mother is first. So what I tell her all the time, sweetheart, do what you gotta do with Calvin. unless I have an emergency. Yeah, I might need you. If I call you and she say, "Babe, I'm doing homework with Calvin," this is why I left her. "Babe, I'm doing homework with Calvin. Are you okay?" I just wanted to hear your voice. That's all. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to hear your voice because I'm not call, and let me explain it. I'm not calling her intentionally while she's doing homework just to hear her voice. I'm like, hey, I wanted to hear your voice. Something just happened to me on the job that was great. But I won't even say that. I will say that until after she's done. I was like, hey, I'm good. I won't even tell her about the great news because she's a mother. She is a mother. And even if we don't get to talk that night, which Ebony is not gonna never let that happen. That's why I say she's my superwoman. She's a mother first. So it's like it's I told her, and Calvin, my guy, that's my Jack. That's my kid, that's my dude. But I am never, and heavy on the never, capital words, I'm never going to compete with time. I'll sit and chill. Hey, do your thing with him, because I'm never gonna try to hey man, what about me? She already got me. I'm already good. I'm grown. It's still a growing king. He's a king in the making. He's a prince right now, but grow that man into a king. The king is already good. Take care of that man. I gladly go second. You see what I mean?
I love that. I love that. Well, let me ask you this. What
Mm.
advice would you give to someone who is differently abled, who is hesitant about opening themselves up to love?
What are you hesitant for? Um, what are you hesitant for? God created us all for a purpose, on purpose. We not purposeless. We not wasteless. We got feelings and desires and all of those things just like everybody else. So, um, what are you closing yourself off to love for? And then it's all about what you take in here. You understand what I'm saying? Because like people will deter you from doing something that you want to experience, right? Because they want to keep you at a level that's comfortable for them. So some people would maybe talk a differently able person out of dating because they know if that person starts dating, they might lose as much access as they had to the person before. I still stand on what are you closing yourself off for? Everybody deserves love. Like we were created in God's image. God is love. So he wouldn't create us in love if we weren't supposed to experience love. That's all. That's it. That's
Just speaking from a man perspective, and any men that would see this, I would say, um, if you're dealing with any type of different ability, first you gotta, accept it, and then you have to work on yourself to feel confident. My confidence didn't come out the sky. It came from me working on myself, and then you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. You know, I would say that's just the best thing. And being with Ebony, like I do stuff, so I'm so spontaneous. Like it's funny because I used to cringe when people used to look at me before I was able to get my story out. And now with Ebony's help, I love that they watch. You know what I'm saying? Even you gotta think, and even when and Ebony probably gonna laugh when they say this. Um, we was out, and they was watching us, and I picked Ebony up, and I picked her up, and she said, "Man, don't pick me up. I don't have no undergarments on." I said, "I give them a show in this jump. I don't play." You feel what I'm saying? And then I mean, what they gonna do? So you know what I'm saying? What the dudes gonna do, or what the women gonna do? I give them a sneak peek. That's how I eating popcorn. See, that's just me. She's like, "Hey, don't do it." No, I mean, I don't, no, no, no. What they gonna do? Needless to say, we kept it PG, slightly PG-13. But no, I mean, come on, man. What they gonna do? But see, that's not that's I mean, that's a little bit of me, but that's me. She's giving me the confidence to be like, hey, like, yeah, let's go. I got my bad woman. What they gonna do? What they gonna say? So you
Right.
gotta love yourself before you love. You gotta love yourself before you love someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, and that was my next question. Like, how do y'all keep it creative, even though it's long distance? Like, how do you keep the romance alive? Ebony.
No,
Like I
we're
know today,
no.
because it's the day before Valentine's
Today,
Day.
today our virtual date. Y'all see our coordination. We was coordinated, but no, we actually do virtual dates a lot. Like we watch shows together, we watch movies together. Um, and Love Is Blind is our show, okay, and they come back on tomorrow, okay.
Oh
So,
wait.
but no, we virtual date a lot. We do a lot of virtual dating, and we legitly synchronize our calendars so that we can plan visits to spend time with each other.
Yeah, I'll be there in a month. Keep that same energy.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
So what is give me one special moment that you've had as a couple that y'all shared.
I guess mine would be. There's so many, but I guess mine would be when he was here in December and just watching him and Calvin interact. Because clearly, I mean, I was here, y'all. I was here. I was in the room. I coordinated our outfits and everything. But they was in their own world playing the game and all stuff. And to me, that was everything to me because I had told him in the beginning, like, hey, listen, Calvin don't like you. I don't care how much I love you, Doc. This ain't gonna work. But that was um that was everything to me. And just before I started coming to DC, um Dion makes it his business to get here. Um he'll be like, I gotta come before it snows. You know, I ain't getting the snow. I gotta come. This- But he make but he makes it his business to get here, and he will take off work just to come here. You know, I don't have to take off work because what I do, it can be done. But for him to make those sacrifices just so that we could spend time together, that's everything to me.
Um, I gave Ebony a nickname. I said she's my pretty lady, but I also say she's my pretty everything, and it's like she's my pretty everything. So it's not one. It's not one thing I can point to because she does everything. And I would, you know what I'm saying? I would send her a voice message and, I was like, I'll think about her and I'll send her a voice message and it'll sound just like this. Emily, I love you, baby. Because I'm so like captivated with her love. I'm like, you make me so happy. You're not even here. Like, even when and that's how I sound. I really sound like that. My voice get real light. Because I'm like, when I'm traveling, and I'm traveling. I was like, you're not even here, but you feel right here. I have never been so close to a woman that's not even physically here, but she's physically here. Like she told me, right? And this is when we was in our dating, we was in our dating phase. She said a lot of coming is 4 or 5 packets, and she's right. But she's also right. Not coming at 4 or 5. Like this woman has this woman has created so much of a safe space for me. And, people will look at it on the outside as like, oh, well, is that because of once you got with her, you start, advancing in life? Yeah, it's no secret that she was, as the kids say, she was my plug. But you take that plug away, that was the same woman when I was dealing with my breakup. And she pushed her Thanksgiving. Who gonna push the Thanksgiving meal away? No one. And she said, oh, you heard talk to me. And I was like, no, I'm stopping you from Thanksgiving. And this is when her flag catch. She said, if you don't just talk, I never forget that. I will never forget when my family turned their back on me and she was here for me. I never forget that.
What advice would you give to another couple um
Mm.
when it comes to having a successful relationship? Not perfect, but successful, making it work. What advice would you give? Let's just say to a man, since I'm talking to you right now, to another man, how should he show up in his relationship so that it can be successful?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, you got to show up as a man. Yeah, I can cry 16 times, but I'm a man's man. I'm a man's man. I stand on business. Like I said, I'm a protector and I'm a provider. I mean, I'm not just saying that she can attest to that. So you have to differently able or not, you have to be a man. Is it look, you got men and you have males and you have men. I'm a man. I'm a man, not a male. I don't I don't have a tail tucked between my legs saying I come up with solutions. I don't cry about anything. So be a man. Be a man about everything you're doing and want to do more. What did I tell you, pretty lady? I said, stick with me. I said, I'm gonna have you in the sand and diamond sandals. You ain't gonna never have to work because we work for each other. You ain't gonna never have to do anything. And she's like, man, he's like, I like to work. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Me, you, and Calvin, we gonna be in this. So we gonna be in the Bahamas sipping pina colada. Just stick with me. You see what I mean? So yeah, look, I can be emotional all day, but you gotta be a man about yours, and you gotta be able to, you know, every new client I get, every new adventure I get, I'll be like, hey, this gonna help us, this paying for our penthouse in the future because we're gonna be in the penthouse. So that's what I'm standing on, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Don't silence your voice. Definitely don't silence your voice. Um,
Okay, let's
make
stop right there. Let me ask you. So, why did you say that? Let's touch on that real quick because I
I,
think a lot of women need to hear that.
because a lot of women silence their voice. It turns into and I can say this because I used to do it. It turns into to make sure that he's good. I want to, you know what I'm saying. I want to express what I'm feeling. And we as women, we also have to know that our needs being met is just as important as the man's needs being met. And um, women are always, from what I've experienced, the first to silence themselves and just kind of go along to get along. But at the same time, you have to understand who you are and what you bring to the table. And you're not just a sexual object. You have thoughts, you have feelings, you have dreams, you have goals, and all of those things. And not being ashamed of saying, I have goals, I have dreams that I want to do outside of us as a collective. Like you said earlier, like how do we balance the independence but also the collectively? And women are usually the first person to lose themselves in a relationship. So definitely not silencing your voice for sure.
Okay.
And and if I can add before Robin, before you go on, see the thing is, um, physically I'm attracted to Ebony, but she can look just like this, and she can have cerebral palsy too. If she didn't have the mind or the heart she had, this wouldn't be this wouldn't be a couple. We wouldn't be talking. We wouldn't be on the zone. It's the fact that she's able to be who she is. I fell in love with this and this before. The aesthetics don't mean anything to me. It's her heart and her mind and who she is as a person, especially long distance. And like I said, aesthetically, she's beautiful to me. I wish she was here right now, laying in our bed, but that's another story, correct? But I'm just being honest. If she wasn't the person she is, because you got to think about this, we're gonna grow old, so we're gonna need that person there to care for us, to be able to help. I'm gonna need to be able to help her when she's older. God, when we make into that to the 60s and 70s, it's not all about the aesthetics or sexual connotation. We need to be able to have that love. So I would say just for the women, and I know I'm not a woman, obviously, but hey, like the aesthetics is gonna melt away. What do you have inside?
You're absolutely right. Because I think for us as women, we do focus on our appearance and we think if we don't look a certain way, we won't get the man or a man. But in my journey, I've learned that when you're able to show up for yourself and love yourself 100%, you will attract what you need. You will attract what
Exactly.
you want. You will attract what you deserve. So it's so important to be able to be in a space to love the person in the mirror. I
Yeah,
like that.
be a wife. Don't be just for the night.
Yeah.
Mm.
So let me before we get out of here, I want to touch a little bit on what it is that you guys have going on. So I will start with you, Dion. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do. Who is Dion, the man?
With Dion the man,
Yes. What Dion got going on?
well, you know, uh, personal training is something that that is that is my forte. Training so many different clients, strength and endurance training, self defense training, you know, just mental training. Also, have a book coming out on my 40th birthday. I know I look 23, but I'm about to be 40 and I'm about to be 40 the 14th of August, and the man behind the sea, that's co-written by my pretty lady Ebony P. You caught that bar? You caught that? Yeah. So that's co-written by her, and also her and I are just venturing out, and we're talking about doing podcasts of our own, like a differently able podcast. So this that's what's going on.
What I have
Um,
going on, what I don't got going on. Saturday I will be doing PPP, push press pray aftercare. Um, and then we have the Roar in Your Voice virtual conference part 2 with me and Robin. That will be March 29th. Registration will be opening for that very soon. As Dion said, his book is coming. Also, for those of you that did not get the first edition of The Roar in Your Voice, Life After the Name Change, the book I wrote about my divorce, no worries, because there's a second edition coming out, and that will be out March 16th. And within that book, it just has a reflection section because God actually had me reread that book, and each chapter he was asking me questions, and he legitly made me turn the questions into a reflection section. So yeah, that's what I have coming up right now.
What will be the legacy of this love story between Dion and Ebony that he will tell his kids?
wow,
That's a good
wow,
question. That he saw two people um with a limitation that didn't let their limitation stop them from doing anything. Because, baby, according to Calvin, I can run because he be trying to race me and all types of stuff. But honestly, Calvin is just gonna see what it look, and he sees that daily from me, from Dion, from his TT set. Like he sees the community to see what it looks like to push no matter what. Like, because in Calvin eyes, we just Mama Dion and everybody else that he don't see that. So to him, it's just like, okay. They might need a little help doing this. Okay, move on. Like he gonna see what it's like to push no matter what, to not let nothing stop you. And that's what me and his dad teach him though. To not let nothing stop you. Everybody got some type of limitation. It's just that ours is visible to the eye. So he gonna see what it's like to push and what it's like to create your own way when a way might not be created for you. You can create your own way.
And I want to throw something in. I think what he will also be able to see and be able to share with his children is that it is okay for a black man to have feelings.
For sure.
That's gonna be one of
For
the big
sure.
things he will learn from Dion, that it is
For
okay
sure.
to hold that space for yourself.
For
And I
sure. Because that's one thing Dion gonna do is cry, baby. He gonna show you his emotions. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a cry and then I'll break someone's nose at the same time because I'm a Muay Thai practitioner. But look, I wanted to because you know it's a lot of women on here, and you know I know certain women are single mothers or whatnot. And my thing is with this, right? I told Ebony this when it come to Calvin because this is serious. I said, look, I don't like the term stepfather, correct? I want to come in as a mentor, and it was my I made it my duty to talk to Calvin's father, and I said, "Look, I'm number three." And he was like, "Number three." I said, "If Calvin ever asks me for advice, I'm gonna say, what did your What did your dad say? Because he's the king, correct? What does your mother say? That's the queen. I want to make sure you checked in with them before I tell you what I would do, because you have to know where you stand. And any man, any woman that has a kid and a man wants to overtake, like, hey, this is my domain, and don't understand that it's a child that comes first, it's not the man for you. And Ebony said that she said, babe, I love you. And she looked at me in my eyes and said, I love you. And I know she does. She said, but I'm a mama first. And we wasn't even having one of those conversations. She was just like, I'm a mama first. And I said, go be a mama. I am never, and heavy on the never is gonna take you away from that duty. Look, do everything you can. I'm still gonna be here regardless. And we can all eat popcorn and sip lemonade. Spike lemonade for me, regular lemonade for Calvin. At least now because he ain't on the drink, dog.
I love that. I really do love that. Well, I want to say thank you both so much for holding space with me tonight and just sharing what love looks like to you, because I feel more people need to be able, and this has nothing to do with being differently able. This is just about being able to have someone in your space. Because I'm a big believer, me and Tony talk about this all the time, that we're not here to be by ourselves. We're
Mm-hmm.
not.
mm,
And just to be able to know someone else who is in a space where they are really receiving what they give out makes me so happy. So I am so happy for you, Ebony. See, I'm about to cry. Dion, you see what you're doing? But yeah,
yeah, I'm about to cry, man. Look, I'm gonna get that on a shirt because everyone knows from my personal training buddies, they know I know I cry. And my train guys, they know I cry real quick.
but
It rubs off.
I love that for y'all. I support you. I'm grateful to be able to have you in my life, and I'm just at awe that, just to watch Ebony go from one space and now here we are about to make me a flower girl. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
You
Let's
amazing.
know,
I'm
go.
about to be a flower girl.
come on, flower girl. No, Kenzie gonna be the flower girl. You gonna be something else. Cause you too grown to be the flower girl.
Well,
Kenzie.
not. So,
Okay,
but
okay.
but as I said, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. This won't be the last time that we sit down and chat it up. I'll come up with another topic because there's so much that we can talk about. But
Definitely.
yeah, but as always, I want to say Thank you for allowing me to share my journey, my mess, and my space. I am your host, Life Coach Robin, and I will see you next time on Sis, Let's Clean Up This Mess.